In Episode 3 of our series on safety and failures in refrigeration and air conditioning equipment, we will examine an accident related to poor maintenance practices in the medium-capacity HVAC sector. In the description, you will find the link to access the entire series and learn about other similar cases analyzed from both technical and safety perspectives. The year was 2014, and numerous hotels in the state of Victoria, Australia, were experiencing a difficult economic situation that affected different areas of operation and maintenance. Faced with the crisis, many hotels lost interest in investing in new installations and focused only on performing corrective maintenance on their aging equipment at the lowest possible cost, postponing any major upgrades to the existing infrastructure. This same situation occurred at a traditional hotel in the aforementioned city. As a result, the technical personnel who regularly serviced the HVAC installations at this establishment were instructed by hotel management to limit maintenance to only what was strictly necessary, reducing their work almost exclusively to refrigerant recharging and keeping the system operational by any means possible with the lowest economic expenditure. Because the same technicians visited the hotel regularly, a sense of familiarity with the equipment developed, which may have created a false sense of confidence and security, reducing their perception of the danger associated with an aging installation that already had a history of leaks and multiple interventions. Several months before the accident, an important change took place that would later become highly relevant during the investigation. One of the technicians, who was an automotive mechanic rather than a commercial refrigeration specialist, worked on the system in search of a solution to the shortage of R12, a refrigerant that had been widely used for decades but was being progressively phased out due to its environmental impact on the ozone layer. To perform refrigerant recharges at the lowest possible cost and minimal intervention on the aging air conditioning equipment, the technician decided to use a commercially marketed blend promoted as a direct replacement for R12, without considering that the product being used consisted of a blend containing R600A, known as isobutane, and R290, known as propane, both highly flammable refrigerants classified as A3 under international safety standards. It is important to mention that although a safer alternative such as R134A existed, its implementation required additional investment, including changing the compressor lubricant and making certain modifications to the system. Due to the age of the equipment, it is possible that the technician chose to avoid those additional tasks in order to reduce costs and intervention time. For this reason, the technician opted for a blend that allowed the system to continue operating with single modifications. It appeared to be an economical and practical solution, but it concealed a major risk that was not properly evaluated. In June 2014, this historic Hotel R closed its doors permanently and the dismantling process began. What no one imagined at the time was that the closure and subsequent removal of equipment would also become the setting of a tragedy that would later be studied by occupational safety agencies, forensic investigators, and refrigeration industry professionals worldwide. During the dismantling of the hotel's old air conditioning systems, an accident occurred that claimed the lives of 2 technicians. It all began in the hotel basement, an enclosed space with limited ventilation and poor air renewal. There, the 2 technicians were removing an old refrigeration system that had suffered from recurring leaks and multiple maintenance interventions for years. It should be remembered that over the months, the system had experienced continuous leaks and repeated refrigerant recharges. Each new recharge added more flammable refrigerant to the circuit. Due to the lack of accurate records and the overall deterioration of the equipment, the exact final composition of the refrigerant present in the system at the time of the accident was never determined.
The subsequent investigation concluded that there was likely a mixture of flammable refrigerants along with a portion of the original R12 still present within the installation. This situation significantly increased the actual risks present during the dismantling operations and heightened the danger associated with any accidental gas release. As the refrigerant was discharged from the equipment into the basement, and because the work was being carried out in an enclosed area without adequate ventilation, the concentration of flammable gases increased progressively, a situation that was underestimated by both technicians while performing the dismantling work. On the day of the accident, while both workers were dismantling the system, they cut part of the copper tubing of the refrigeration circuit using hand tools. As they did so, the refrigerant contained inside began to escape rapidly into the enclosed basement environment. Although both technicians were completely unaware of it, within seconds a potentially explosive atmosphere had formed. The released hydrocarbon gases mixed with the air inside the confined space and reached concentrations capable of igniting in the presence of an ignition source. The ignition source was something simple, commonplace, yet deadly: a cigarette lighter operated by one of the workers while carrying out the task. The investigation concluded that this was the most likely cause of the ignition that triggered the tragedy. In an atmosphere saturated with flammable gases, that small spark was enough to provoke an immediate reaction. The explosion occurred instantaneously, generating a pressure wave and an intense fireball that engulfed both workers. The injuries sustained were extremely severe. One of them died the same day as the result of burns and internal injuries. The second technician later died due to the severity of his injuries. The case also highlighted a broader problem that was beginning to affect the industry. As the refrigeration sector moved toward refrigerants with lower environmental impact, the use of flammable substances increased. However, many technicians who had been trained for decades with non-flammable refrigerants had not received specific training to work with these new technologies and their associated risks. After the accident, occupational safety organizations issued warnings directed at technicians, facility owners, and maintenance companies with the objective of preventing similar situations. Whenever you use a replacement refrigerant, carefully verify the composition of the blend and ensure that it is fully compatible with the equipment in which it will be used. Remember that a flammable refrigerant must never be charged into a system that has not been specifically designed, evaluated, or adapted to operate with that type of gas. Before any conversion, a complete technical assessment of the system and all its components must be carried out to ensure safe operating conditions. Likewise, all maintenance work must be performed in properly ventilated areas. Smoking and the use of ignition sources must be strictly prohibited during technical interventions. In addition, it is essential to use appropriate tools, leak detectors compatible with flammable gases, and equipment specifically designed for these types of refrigerants. Safety does not depend solely on the refrigerant being used, but also on the decisions made during the installation, maintenance, and repair of systems. This case demonstrates how a succession of small errors, seemingly insignificant when analyzed individually, can ultimately trigger an irreversible tragedy with fatal consequences.